guys. This is a continuation of our discussion on current affairs or what has been happening in our country and across the globe. Um, so there is this unfortunate event that happened about 2 weeks ago or a week ago, 2 weeks back, where there was an accident that took the lives of over 26 people, including 21 kids from a school, King David um, Primary School. It is actually just very close from where I am recording from. So it was a very unfortunate event. May their souls rest in peace. So that accident happened, and there was a lot going on in the news, on the internet. Everyone was giving their opinion about what went wrong and things like that. I know the ministry came out to even cancel school tours for a minute. I'm not sure if that cancellation is permanent or it is still ongoing, but basically tours were cancelled because of that accident. So what I want to say about this accident, again, I've done an episode when there was a school fire in Kenya where students burnt a dormitory and it ended up killing I believe it was 16 girls. It was a girls' school. And I talked about it and I kept asking myself, what do we as parents and what do schools have to do to ensure the safety of their students or pupils while at school? What are we supposed to do? How far are we supposed to go to protect people's kids? Because when someone entrusts you with their child, they trust that their child will come back to them safe. Obviously, you cannot prevent every horrible occurrence that can happen. Even as a parent, it's not possible for you to prevent accidents from happening. They happen even on your watch, anything can happen. But where do we draw the line between an accident and total negligence? And who do we hold accountable? Where it's not just an accident, but it is actual negligence. For example, if a school is going for a trip, they're going to use a bus. You know, where how do you know that this is a mere accident, and then how do you know that this was total negligence on the part of the school? Again, I'm not talking about this school specifically, but I'm just saying that we have to ensure that as schools, also as parents, we have to ensure that we are very careful with how we do things that involve children or other people's kids, even our kids. We have to be very careful. You have to be extra vigilant when it comes to dealing with people's children. For example, if there is a bus company that wants to take a child to a tour or children to a tour, you have to ensure that this bus is fully functional, the bus is okay, it doesn't have any mechanical condition. Actually, for me, if I was a head of a school that is taking students for a tour, or young kids, pupils for a tour, one thing I would do for certain, I would make sure that I bring my personal mechanic to look at the bus or the vans, the vehicle they're going to use, to ensure that it is in good mechanical condition. Because of course the bus company or the tour company that you're using is going to tell you our cars are well maintained, they don't have any mechanical issues, because for them it is business. They want to make money. But you don't trust the word of a company, a business. Some businesses minimize costs by not taking their cars to the garage every time they're supposed to be serviced or repaired, because it is very expensive to repair cars, as you can imagine. So sometimes they make these small fixes here and there, and then the bus is on the road, or the van is on the road, the vehicle is on the road with people's kids. So, as a school, before you take somebody, right, somebody's child, put them in a van, take them for a tour, long distance tour. Within Kampala, in Tebe, Wakiso, it is okay maybe. But for a tour that is outside of Kampala, that is so far away from town, you should ensure that the vehicle functions properly. Bring an independent mechanic to look at it and give you an independent opinion that this car is perfectly fine. In that case, if something happens, you know it was an accident, it was a negligence or a cover up by the company, the tour company or the bus company that took the kids. Another thing I want to talk about, now I'm talking to the drivers of these school vans. I see school vans all the time on the road when I'm driving. You know, you're driving, you see a van. People who drive school vans drive very badly, very, very badly. And I think this is something Ministry of Education should pick up on. People who drive school vans are very bad drivers because they are rushing to pick up so many kids, take them to school before 8 a.m., and then rushing to drop off kids before it gets dark in the evening. They drive very badly. I see them on the expressway driving very young kids, driving very poorly. And then the van at the back has report bad driving. I'm wondering, do people actually report or do people just not bother? You know, we as citizens have to start caring about our kids. You know, like how those ladies in Captura helped those children, stayed with them in hospital. You know, that is the spirit that we need to have. And Honorable Balam said it would never happen here in Kampala, and that is we have this I don't care attitude until it is your child. If you're not capable of reporting bad driving simply because the child in the van is not your child, then just know even your child is in another van somewhere and someone will not report bad driving and then your child will get a problem someday. So we have to be able to care about each other. As a country, if you see kids being driven badly, report. And as a school, do something about it. Because that is how things start and then eventually something bad happens. School van drivers are very bad drivers. I've talked about this so many times. Every time I see them on the road, they are very bad drivers. We should have a line, maybe Ministry of Education should give us a hotline where we report them, we record and report them. And we say this person is driving kids and is driving bad. Or maybe the school we report and then we follow up to ensure that driver's contract has been terminated. Because when you're driving people's kids, you have to be very careful. You have to be very careful. So sometimes it is accidents, sometimes it is negligence. Accidents you cannot prevent. They happen. Even when the car is in very good condition, the driver is very good, nothing is wrong, an accident can happen. You know, maybe someone could come from nowhere and knock the van, or the van can hit a stone that is not visible and then it overturns. That can happen to anyone. But negligence, where the car has mechanical conditions that the car owner knows about, where the driver is a bad driver and the school knows about it, parents should be able to sue for negligence. Schools should schools should lose their licenses if they put kids at risk. Where your van, the driver is a poor driver, you're driving kids to school, you're taking kids in very, driving very poorly as the kids are going to school or going for tours, the school should lose the license. Because that is how things start and then they escalate and then people end up dying. So we should draw a line between accidents and negligence. When is it an accident? When is it negligence? If it is negligence, everyone responsible should be held accountable, starting with the schools, the companies involved, and all other parties. Yeah, so that is what we have to do to protect our children. But it is very unfortunate that most schools don't care. It's money, it's business. It's about making money. They don't care about the safety of the kids. They don't care about the environment the kids are in terms of when they are on the road going home. They don't care. First of all, school vans, just like school vans in the USA have cameras inside them. Even school vans here or school buses here should have cameras inside them where you can see how the driver is driving. They should have speed recordings. And it is 2026. We have very many devices. We have technology. You can see that this driver is over speeding. You can see that this driver is driving poorly. We have all these equipment that have been put in place to ensure the safety of people on the road. So there should be cameras in these vans. It is very simple to put a camera in the van. Those cameras are not even very expensive, depending on how much money the schools that have vans usually charge in tuition. Put cameras in the vans, put the speed recorder in the van to ensure that you can tell that this driver is a poor driver. They are overspeeding, they are driving poorly, and then hold everyone accountable to ensure the safety of people's children. It is not difficult. But other than that, if you're negligent and something happens to kids, the school should lose its license, you should be charged, and you should be imprisoned. That is it. So we're going to have a very good friend of mine, actually my best friend. My best friend is a principal of a school, uh, lower primary, kindergarten and lower primary school. And she's going to come here and talk to us about, you know, these things. We're going to talk about how do we ensure that we are picking the right school for our children. What are we supposed to put into consideration to ensure that our kids are in the right learning environment? What are we supposed to consider to ensure the safety of our children at school? She has been a principal of a school for a minute, and so she has a lot of experience in this. She'll tell us when is it an accident, when is it negligence, and then how do we ensure, how do we prevent or minimize the occurrence of accidents, and then how do we ensure that there are no circumstances where somebody's child is endangered through negligence. So we're going to have her on the podcast, and she will be telling us more about all these things. But it is very unfortunate that accident that happened. Everyone should be held accountable, depending on whether it was a mere accident that cannot be prevented or it was negligence. People, if it was negligence, everyone responsible should be held accountable by the Ministry of Education, but also by the parents of the victims. So that is it about that. May their little souls rest in peace, and may the souls of the adults who died as well rest in peace. And we pray that we pray for healing as a country, but also for healing for the parents and guardians of the deceased kids. Other than that, we're going to continue our segment on current affairs, and please stay tuned. Bye for now. I'm going to take a break and we shall be back.